Hey y'all, it's me, Kevvie. So this entire video will contain spoilers. While I won't use any spoilers about the plot, I will be spoiling character development. So the other day, Nell from Gunpowder Fiction and Plot finished reading a new release called Darryl by Jackie Ess. She described it as really queer and under 200 pages, which was enough to make me want to read it. I read the entire book in one day. It's very short and written mostly as Darryl's inner monologue. So it's easy, accessible language in simple sentences. Darryl is a man who is a self-identified cuck, a man who gets pleasure out of other men fucking his wife. It's this inferiority complex where he gets off on the idea of a more dominant masculine man putting him in his place. So this book is about Darryl's experiences as a cuck and the people he meets because of that. One of my favorite things about Darryl is that he is such an egg. In trans context, an egg is someone who is trans but hasn't quite realized it yet. Then when they finally realize they're trans, you say that the egg cracked. The common narrative about trans people is that they've known their whole lives that they were trans. But that's not always the case. For example, I was an egg until I was 19. Of course, I knew how much I hated being male and dressing like a boy and all of that, but I just hadn't had that light bulb moment to put all the puzzle pieces together. Then when I was in college, our class was reading Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own, and for the class discussion of the book, our professor made us sit on opposite sides of the room according to our gender. Of course, I was expected to sit on the guy's side. As the discussion went on, I was disgusted by the men I was sitting with. They were unanimously saying that as men, they deserved to be treated better than women. It was so wrong, and I was so uncomfortable. And then it clicked. I'm sitting on the wrong side of the table. I should be sitting at the woman's table because I'm a woman. That was the moment my egg cracked. Looking back at my childhood, it's obvious that I was trans the whole time. I was just oblivious to it and didn't have the language I needed in order to understand it. So that's basically where Darryl is in this book. He says plenty of egg phrases like, I wish I was a woman. I feel like I've been built wrong. If I ever transitioned, I'm not a man at all. Gender is a fucking prison. I always thought if I was a girl, I would be straight. I wish I could belong to the world of women. I wish I could get pregnant. And so much more. All while adamantly denying that he is trans. This is typical egg behavior, dreaming and fantasizing about being a woman, but thinking that's just a normal thing cis men do. Most cases, they don't. Darryl has also been cross-dressing privately for most of his life, and does so more frequently and publicly as the book progresses. He feels euphoric when he's clean-shaven and smooth, and severe discomfort and dysphoria when he has stubble. He's so fucking relatably trans. It's almost as if he was written by a trans person. Oh wait, he was. By the end of the book, Darryl's egg still hasn't cracked, and he appears to be more confident in just being a feminine man. However, as a trans person, I'm still convinced he is trans, just like his token trans friend is in the book. Even with all his conversations with his trans friend and all her efforts to educate him about what it means to be trans, he's still very ill-informed about what it means to be trans and holding on to a lot of misconceptions about it. He's going to have to unlearn those falsehoods before he can understand his place in transness. Additionally, in the course of the novel, he's only acquainted with one type of trans, the transsexual. Now, a lot of the younger generation don't like the term transsexual. They believe it's an antiquated word that misrepresents them, preferring the term transgender. However, while transgender is a better generalized umbrella term, transsexual still has its place in our lexicon. Now it has a more niche use, typically used by older trans people, referring explicitly to trans women who have medically, physically, surgically transitioned. For y'all cis out there though, I'd recommend defaulting to transgender and only using the term transsexual to describe somebody if you know that is their preferred descriptor. So in this novel, Darryl's only experience with a trans person is with the transsexual Uthun. By the end of the book, Darryl recognizes that he's not like her and concludes, therefore, that he is not trans. However, the trans experience is so much more broad and varied than that. Darryl may not be and probably isn't a transsexual woman, but he could be something else under the transgender umbrella. He could be non-binary, gender fluid, or any other number of things. He could even be a transgender woman who chooses not to transition. Those exist too. Any one of those identities could fit Darryl's experience. He wouldn't even need to change who he is, could even continue to use male pronouns and his current name, and he would still be a real and valid transgender person. So see, with all of that egg language he uses throughout the book, I think the fact that he is trans is undeniable. Darryl is an unexpectedly funny book. I'm going to take a moment to read you some silly quotes from it. You live vicariously through celebrities. I live vicariously through the guys who fuck my wife. Hannibal Lecter is fucking my wife. Okay, I hope he doesn't eat her. Maybe every guy like me just needs a best friend with a huge cock. I'm not gay, let alone trans. That's like next level gay. Gay isn't any weirder than whatever I am, right? All that energy, all that history, somebody was packing heat. That's the real religion. Real dick. Being gay would have been a lot simpler for sure. I feel like I'm living proof that it's not a choice. I wonder if Bill would fuck me, just to see what it was like. I mean, if I was trans, I probably wouldn't be able to shut up about it either. In the future, guys like me will be trans whether we like it or not. When a guy fucks my wife, and they're both telling me how worthless I am, I guess that's the only time I really feel validated or seen. Maybe there are cucks that aren't even men. Is that postmodernism? Maybe they're trans in reverse. Is that a thing? Like a girl becoming a guy? And all of that is just in the first half of the book. It's fucking hilarious, and makes up for how unrelatable he is as a wealthy, centrist white man. Because of his uber-privileged starting mindset, he says a lot of not-so-good things, but that's part of his growth. He's slowly learning to be a better person and care about other people. One of the best things about this book, though, is Darryl's relationship with Bill. I ship them so hard. While Bill starts out as the guy fucking Darryl's wife, he quickly becomes his best friend. Darryl really falls for this man, and watching their relationship blossom just gave me so many feels. I don't normally like romance novels, but this isn't a romance novel. It's a novel about self-discovery, and part of that includes the discovery that he loves the guy that fucks his wife. Darryl is such a wild ride. Super queer and short enough to finish in a day. I highly recommend it. Read it. Support trans authors. And if you think you might be an egg, I'll put some resources in the description below. What queer books have you read this Pride Month? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if it pleases and sparkles, I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!